friends, end of day Monday. I am so glad to be sitting here. Workday is over and I am excited to share something with you. So I am going to be soon starting finally the Raven by Blackbird Designs. This is a quilt. It's applique and I've wanted to stitch this for years, and so Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts was talking about this in a recent video. She had purchased this pattern and I left her a comment saying, if you want a quilting buddy for it, let me know. I need an excuse to start it. And so her and Celeste from Celeste Creates and I are all going to start the Raven quilt. So I'm really excited about that. So I've uploaded videos about hand applique before. Lori from Textilist also has. We had what we called a BBD QAL a while back. If you're interested in hand applique, there's some videos for you to watch on the different techniques. I use a technique called Apliquick, and it's a set of tools. They're not cheap, they're an investment. But I have a lot of fun using them. I found them to be a good investment for myself. And from before I even opened up my shop, my long-term dream was to eventually carry them because I like them so much, and I think they're a really good product. I know I sound like a saleswoman, but really I do love them. And what they are, they're like a set of metal rods, and then there's scissors, and they have a variety of their projects. And I had bought like a starter kit for myself that included tweezers. I bought 2 sets of scissors, and I've kind of learned over time what is really needed, like what you can do with or without. I've tried a couple of things to see, you know, are there cheaper options that work just as well, things like that, and kind of got an idea of what I think I would want to bring to the market. So when this came up and coincided with kind of the shop being busy with the October sale and everything, I realized this is probably a great time for me to really look into finally just taking the leap and investing in the product to carry in my shop. So I reached out to the US distributor for Apliquick. It's a product from Spain, and I got my first order. So I thought we could open it together and check it out. And I have things I need to figure out, like how am I going to sell these? In other words, like, I think I want to do like a beginner's kit that people can buy, but I also want to offer individual products. I want to like maybe do some new video. Well, I'd love to do a ton of videos showing people how I use it, how they can use it. I have some already, but also going over like if you want to start and you just want the bare bones, like here's what I think you need. You know, if you want a little extra, here's what I think you need for that kind of thing, if that makes sense. Like in other words, for scissors, I use the Apliquick scissors. I really like them. They're serrated, they're stainless steel. I've tried other options for applique scissors, and I thought they were a little plasticky and I didn't like them as much, so I'm not carrying them in my shop. But I also know that you don't have to have applique scissors in order to do applique. So it's that kind of stuff that I want to communicate to people. When I bought my starter kit, I had the Apliquick tweezers in them, which you use for really tiny pieces. I've never used them, so I'm not planning on selling them, or if I do, it'll be further down the line, just for select people who feel like they need them. I wouldn't make them part of a starter kit. So stuff like that. Like I need to figure out how I'm going to communicate those things. I need to figure out how I'm going to package this stuff, because I've just been selling charts and silks, and I've done project bags in the past, so I've figured out the shipping for all of those and how to package them, but I haven't figured it out for a product like this yet. I imagine it needs to be in a box. So those are kind of the things that are going through my head, but I thought to start with, we would open this box together. All right, so they've nicely packaged things in separate pieces of paper. So this says 12 rods. So I had to, it was not easy figuring out how much to start with, because first off, you have to buy a minimum of 10, right? And buy them from a distributor. So I can't just order 1 or 2 pairs, buying wholesale. So if you buy 10 or more, you get a certain level of pricing. And then I believe the next tier of pricing was like 25 or more, something like that, which I'm not there yet. So you want to order enough that you hit the minimum, and if people want to buy them, they're in stock, right? But not too much that if people don't buy them, you're stuck with them. So I chose to buy 12 sets of rods, and this is what they look like, the box anyway. And you can see a picture of what the rods look like on there. They have a cute box, and it's not too big, so I need to, you know, figure out like what kind of box sizes I need to order. So that's cool. So I've got the 12 rods. That is like that's the piece, like you need those. If you're gonna do Apliquick, you need the rods. All right, this one's not labeled. Okay, so this is the glue sticks. So these are, the distributor for Apliquick sells Bowen glue sticks, so the fabric glue sticks. You can also use Soline, and that's actually what I use most of the time. Those are readily available. You buy them on Fat Quarter Shop, websites like that. They're just slightly cheaper, and I have found that they work just as well. I don't think I've tried any other kinds of glue sticks. I have seen people on YouTube do English paper piecing with normal glue sticks that you would buy in a craft store. For me, I wouldn't mess around with that with hand applique, because I don't want to run my needle through that kind of glue. And then I just don't know long-term effects. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying I haven't done it for those reasons. Like EPP, I'd be willing, unless I was making an heirloom quilt, but I haven't gotten that far. I'd probably be more willing to mess around with something like that. But with hand applique, if I'm making a quilt, I don't really want to take that risk. But if that's something that you've tried, definitely let me know. So anyway, so I think like a eventual long-term goal of mine is to carry more hand applique tools that I use that aren't Apliquick. So I would like to carry things like Soline glue and refills and things like that. From my research, I would need to buy that through Moda, and I don't have a kind of shop where I could set up a normal account with them. So I have to do something where like I spend like a minimum amount of money on my order, if that makes sense. So like I have a higher minimum. It's not like I can get credit with them. They want me to have my own website and have a minimum amount of products in that website. So as an Etsy shop, they won't allow me to set up a regular account. So anyway, so it's not impossible. It's not that I can't carry those products. I just need to really plan it out and think about it and pay up front and, you know, be prepared for that. So to start, the point is to start out with, I'm going to be carrying the Bowen glue. That way I can set up starter kits so that if someone wants to try this method and they don't have things like fabric glue, they can buy them from me. But if you are interested in trying Apliquick, know that you could use a different kind of fabric glue pen. You don't have to use the Bowen. So anyway, that being said, here are my boxes of like the double refills. So I'm going to carry the Bowen glue pen, refill packages that have 2 refills in them, and then I have ordered some packages that have 5 refills in them. So that way if someone's buying it, and then they have, you know, different options. So there's more of those. They've definitely packaged it nicely for me, so that's cool. So here's the 5 refills. I'm looking for the scissors. So here's the pen. I did have a second box, and that second box is bigger, so something might be in that box. Okay, here's the scissors. So they come individually boxed, which is nice too. That's the package, and then instead of opening them, I'm just going to show you mine. These are the scissors. They're stainless steel and they're serrated, which helps grip the fabric. So that is very helpful for applique. I'm excited to carry the scissors. They have, I think, 3 different scissors. I do have the larger ones. They have like a 3-hole one for like ergonomically helpful, and they're bigger, so if you're doing bigger pieces they might be helpful. That's what I use it for. I didn't order it in this first round because this is my favorite and most used of the scissor types, and so I wanted to start with the basics, so that's why I got these. The last piece, so to me what you need in order to do Apliquick, the Apliquick rods, if fabric glue pen, and the Apliquick paper. So I think the Apliquick paper is in the other box, and I'm gonna get that for you. All right, so here is the second box. Because you can buy from the distributor, you can buy Apliquick paper two ways. You can buy like pieces. I think it's like 21 inches by 35.5 inches. So if you were to go online and buy Apliquick paper, that's where you're gonna find it the most in that format. But if you're a wholesaler, you can buy a roll. And so I also bought a roll because I want to start out, I'll probably start out with the pieces, but then I want to figure out how to sell it by the yard, so that say you're doing this quilt, you can say, hey, I want to buy 3 yards of the Apliquick paper instead of buying individual pieces. Hopefully that makes sense. But I still have to figure out how the pricing works out, if there's any, you know, if people can save money buying it by the yard, how much, and how I'm going to package it, and that kind of thing. So, I think these are the individual packs. Yeah, 25. So it's 35 and 5/8 inches by 21 inches. So kind of a yard of 21-inch wide. So they don't package it, so I need to figure out, oh, they wrap it up, so this is nice. They wrap it up, but they've got their sticker on it. So that might need to change. I think I might need to get Hillside Rookery stickers and do something similar. Or my other idea is to get a bag that it goes in. Maybe like a craft paper bag that would fit them, and then stamp that bag with my logo. So anyway, this is the paper. So paper is very key. It is basically like an interfacing. So what you do is you trace your shape, your template, and then you cut along that line that you traced, and then you iron it onto the back of your fabric, and then you cut out the fabric around it, leaving like a seam allowance, like 1/8 to 1/4 inch, and then you use your rods to turn over those edges and glue them down. So there's tutorials for this. I have videos up about it, and I'll make future ones that are more detailed. But basically, it's just to say that this is important because it has a certain firmness to it, and it doesn't wash out. I get that question a lot. This won't wash out. This is like it's like an iron-on interfacing, but it's heavier than a light interfacing. So it also means that if you have applique on your quilt using this paper, you're gonna kind of feel that it doesn't feel like paper, but you'll feel it's thicker, right? Because it's got an interfacing to it. And that also means that if you're layering a bunch of pieces on top of each other, it's gonna feel thick. So it's just something to keep in mind. Now, if you did a method like needle turn applique, you're not gonna have any extra product in the final product. So if you really want it to be soft and not have any thickness to it, you'd be better off using a different method than Apliquick, just to let you know. Another thing I've played around with, and that I think I'll play around with in the future, are like bigger pieces. So on this, there's not really like a huge piece, but say for example, this house, like the house on the front. Something that I might do is not use the Apliquick paper on the square part and find a different method to turn over my edges and sew it down, because it's a little easier than say trying to make this moon without the Apliquick paper. So then this might end up, using my different method, just be fabric here, and then the Apliquick would just be on the windows, so it wouldn't be as thick. So it's kind of a learning experience to see what you like, but you could very much just do the whole thing with Apliquick paper. Anyway, that was a lot of information. I hope I didn't bore anyone. Hopefully if I did, you just fast forwarded through that segment. But I'm super excited. Oh, I didn't show you one last thing. The actual roll of paper. I'm very excited to see what this looks like. Oh, and it comes in a nice Apliquick box. Okay. So it says fusible stabilizer, one-sided. So it's 25 meters by 25 yards, or 25 meters / 25 yards. I don't think the meter's exactly the same as the yard though, so let's see. But I know that the distributor gave me the exact numbers on what it is. But again, it's from Spain, so they're using the metric system. Wow. So I need to first make sure I take really good care of this roll because it's not cheap. So that's big. So if I could, so yeah, the goal is to find the most affordable option that I can offer people for the paper. So like for a starter kit, I would probably offer a piece like this, but then I'd like to offer the yardage. So anyway, lots of learning to do and experimenting and figuring things out, but I'm so excited. Like I can't believe I got to this point. I'm so grateful for everyone who's purchased things from my shop or just said something supportive. I'm so grateful for you that left nice comments about the vlogs. It's kind of hard, like when I first, go out to make them, I don't have a lot of self-confidence, so it's like I'm constantly thinking people are just going to be so bored by this and no one's going to watch it. It's going to be dull. So those of you who left comments about enjoying it, I really appreciate it, truly. Thank you so much, and thanks for sitting through my little Apliquick segment. Yeah, I'm excited. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Good morning, friends. It is Tuesday. It's still dark out. Sorry. Sunny and I are on a morning walk, and this guy's a power walker. But today I don't know what my vlog will be like today because I'm getting minor surgery today. I am having a polyp in my uterus removed. Sorry if that's overshare. I just don't want to be vague about it and seem like there's some big mystery. Just has to be done, and so that's what I'm doing today. Maybe I'll vlog the whole thing. Maybe we'll do a live Instagram. No, I'm just kidding. But that's yeah, that's what's on deck. I don't know, hopefully they say recovery can be like a day or two, but it's not like I have to do physical labor, so not too worried about that. I mean, of course I'm nervous about surgery, but it's minor and I'll be outpatient and hopefully home in a few hours. So just wanted to fill you in on what's on deck for today, and I will or will not be checking in later. This is not fast forward. Hi friends! So it is Wednesday. I had my surgery yesterday and everything went well. I got lucky, but knock on wood, I haven't had pain. It's not fun having surgery, but it was my first time, so I got to experience the whole ordeal. But I think it went really well. I haven't heard from my doctor yet, but I didn't wake up in pain and I haven't had pain today, so I'm glad it's over with. And I'm moving on. I have my biggest box yet from Hoffman, so I thought maybe we could go through it. I'm sure there's some restock in here, but I also am trying to get ready for the holidays, for winter and Christmas, trying to stock up for once October is over. And I also got the new Blackbird Designs booklets. They reprinted, was it Peppermint and Holly? Yes, Peppermint and Holly. So that's super exciting because that's an awesome booklet. All right off the top, I have Rocking Horse Holiday from Artful Offerings. It's a pretty mottled dark background, so I don't know how much you can see the actual pattern, but it's super pretty. Restocking Friends of the Heart. That's been a popular one this fall. I loved stitching it. I love this one. I really want to stitch this. This is a Merry Heart. I'm just trying to think. I think Maddie's stitching that one. Yeah, she is. It's gorgeous. Yes. I've always loved this one. Peppermint Polar Bear from Artful Offerings. It's a little bit of an older one, but super cute. It's another great one. Christmas in the Village from the Scarlet House. Anything with houses, you know. It's another super cute one. Kind and Gentle Woodland Holiday Sampler from Artful Offerings. I just love that deer in PJs. So cute. This is another older one from Artful Offerings. Always love Mr. Owl's Wintergreen Gala. How cute is that? So dapper. These are some stockings from Blackbird Designs, crowning the tree. Back. This is a smaller one, so it's just the one pattern of that stocking. I thought it was pretty. One of my all-time favorites, just restocking this one, Blackbird Fractor. That was one of my favorites on my wall. I even had I had that one framed nicely and it hangs in my bedroom. A Plum Street Sampler, Christmas Mini Moon. I love that bunny on top of the house. So creative. Another great, I think Artful Offerings is just great Christmas stuff. This is Wintertide Cardinal. Really pretty. Okay. The Bells on Christmas Day by Blackbird Designs. I've done the top 3. I still need to do these 2. Oh, I restocked in time for Thanksgiving, Gobble. It's an older Plum Street sampler. It's actually an MPI. Maybe I should do MPI kits for that. One of my all-time favorite booklets from Blackbird Designs, Home for the Holidays. This has so many good patterns in it. I'll have to try to photograph them all for the listing. But yes, love this one. This is one I've always wanted to stitch. Early Christmas Morning by Blackbird Designs. I just think that's just so classic. Got a lot of stuff, guys. This one is just called For You. It's got Santa and a moose, and it's just so cute. This makes me want to stitch ornaments. Bringing Home the Tree from Scarlet House. My Gift to Thee from Scarlet House. Oh, I want to stitch them all. Let's see, I showed you Bringing Home the Tree. This is A Country Winter from Plum Street Samplers. I love the big barn there. Alrighty. This is Mary 1 from Plum Street Samplers. So cute. Kringle and Woolard from Plum Street Samplers. And Home for Christmas from Plum Street Samplers. Big red house. Gotta stitch that too. Oh, sigh. It's a happy sigh. All these good patterns. So little time. Here we go. Peppermint and Holly. People have been dying to have this reprinted for a long time. So it's very exciting that it's finally here. There's lots of pretty pictures in here. So that'll go up. I think I ordered a bunch of those. Ooh, they're so fresh. No, they smell fresh even. Ooh. Let's see, is that it? No, I don't think that's it. Nope, there's some more down here. Ooh. Sleigh Rides and Snowflakes from Scarlet House. Oh, I've had this one for so long. I wanted to stitch it. It's still just sitting there waiting for me. Oh, I restocked My Pretties. Plum Street Sampler. This is another old Artful Offerings that I love. Penny Penguin's Heart of Christmas. It's so cute. Oh my god. Of course, had to get Yuletide Welcome from Plum Street Samplers. Let's see. It says, that's interesting. I thought this one would be all MPI, but it's not. It's gassed also. You have to look at Springfield Stitcher. She has stitched it on a brown fabric and it's gorgeous. And I think this is the last one, Feliz Navidad. Maddie has stitched this one and it's colorful and beautiful. Whew. Did I do all of that on the tilted camera or did that just tilt halfway through? Anyway, I'm sorry. Got a little excited. It was an exciting box. But anyway, I am going to work. What am I going to work on next? Oh, I need to edit my latest vlog. But anyway, I hope that all of you are having a good time while you're watching this and enjoying some stitching. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Sonny, you're going home today. I'm gonna miss you. It's been a fun visit. You've been a good boy most of the time. Yeah, and you need a haircut. Guess who's here?
Look at that baby. Oh, look who's here. Oh, oh, Daddy. Oh, hi, Daddy. Oh, oh.
He's so sad to go. Hi friends, it's Friday, which is awesome. I had to say goodbye to my fluffy friend yesterday, so that's sad, but I'm sure I will see him again soon. It was fun having him over here. He definitely keeps me on my toes. But today I am working on making up silk kits for North Pole by Kathy Barrick. This has been a hot new release, and actually quite a few people have reached out to me about silk kits, which is so sweet. Thank you so much. This piece calls for 19 colors. So this is kind of a perfect contender for a silk kit. The only drawback being that there are so many colors, so it's a lot more work. But I am able, like I mentioned in one of my previous blogs, I'll be able to charge people a lot less. In other words, if I make the silk kit and supply just the silks they need, they'll pay around half of what they would if they bought full skeins. So I'm trying to make these, but they take time, and people are being very patient, and I'm telling myself, you got to get these out there so that they can start their Christmas stitching. So I'm working on that today, and I thought I would kind of give you a glimpse at how that all works out. So first off, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I wanted to show you an example. This is a silk kit for Good Intentions by Kathy Barrick, and it has just enough silk to stitch it with one strand of silk all over two on 36 count or higher counts, so 40, 46. I do the kits based on one strand because the majority of people I know that work with MPI silks only use it when they're stitching with one strand versus two strands. It's not to say that you can't stitch it with two strands, it's just silk is more expensive. So a lot of people I know usually just do it when they're stitching with one strand. I really have not figured out a way to offer kits for those who are using two strands. So I'm just sticking to the one strand for now. I have had people reach out about how much they would need for two strands, and unfortunately the easiest answer I have is you'd have to buy two of these. And I know that's not really cost effective. So that's, for now, I'm just doing the one strand. For something like North Pole, Kathy Barrick is kind enough to give me these stitch counts per color. Her program tells her how many stitches of each color I use, and then she gives me those numbers. If it's any other designer, I will usually count the stitches myself, which is time consuming. It's why I don't do it for big pieces, and it's why I have to, I carefully select which ones I do. If I had all the time in the world, I would have tons of silk kits. But for now, I just have to be happy with myself and do what I can. Though I will say for the Liz Matthews patterns, her patterns, her PDFs work in Pattern Keeper. So if she has it available in her shop as a PDF, and I want to do a silk kit, I'll usually purchase the PDF from her and put it into Pattern Keeper, and Pattern Keeper will tell me how many stitches there are. So yeah, so that's how I figure out the number of stitches. And then I have a formula that I put together that I use to figure out how many strands I need based on how many stitches I calculate you'll need per strand. So I took the number that it took me for 40 count, one strand, and then I really like diluted it down. So I then tried on 36 count, and I saw like, okay, what if I'm stitching with one strand on 36 count over 2 with 18-inch lengths, and I did a lot of starting and stopping, or I did a bunch of stitches but they weren't all close together. And then I just keep over like estimating to make sure that, you know, by the time, what I have to be careful about is I don't want to charge you for too much silk, right? But I want to make sure that if you pick this up 20 years from now, you're going to have the silk that you need to do your stitching. So based on that, I came up with a formula that I was comfortable with that should accomplish both those things. So you will have leftover silk, but you shouldn't be too short on silk, and you shouldn't have tons left over to the point where it's wasteful. So that's kind of how I came up with my formula. So once I have that formula, I then calculate how many skeins of silk I will need in order to make 10 sets. So, you know, I might need 2 skeins to make 10, you know, 2 skeins of a certain purple for 10 kits, to make 10 kits, because there's 2 cuts each, etc. I won't go into all the math. Sometimes if there's a lot of a color, like this one has a lot of 205, it makes the most sense for me to go with hanks and cut those up for the 10 sets. So that's how I figure out how much silk I need. So for this one, I have 19 colors, and I've got listed out for myself how many cuts of each silk I need to put in each kit. So you can see, like for the big one, I need 19 cuts, and each cut has 8 strands of silk. So MPI is an 8-stranded silk, and yeah, I'm confusing myself with all the numbers, but trust me, it makes sense. I've got it down. But how the method works is that I take the cards that I have, I punch holes in them, and then I stamp them with the number, the silk number, the MPI silk number. So for example, MPI 205. I stamp them, then I cut the silks, and then I put the silks on the bobbins, and then I collect all the bobbins into sets and put those together into labeled sets, so that you have something like this in the end with the stamped numbers on them. I do stamping. In the beginning I started with stickers, but then moved on to stamping. Stamping is, I think, in all of the ways I play around with it, stamping is the most flexible, the most of the options, in my opinion, aesthetically pleasing. I thought the stickers weren't as pretty as the stamping, basically, is what I'm saying. I can't have them pre-printed. That wouldn't really be cost effective, and it doesn't leave me with any flexibility because you'd have to order a certain number. And then my reasoning with wanting them simple like this, first, cost effective, because I'm trying to make these so that you can save money on the kits. But also I feel like I tried to think of like how I would want them. Sorry, I tie them up like this. The idea is that you can, when you receive them, you can put them on a ring. I thought about sending them out on rings, but that's going to add money to the shipping cost and the cost of the kit. But then when I've stitched with these kits in the past, I didn't even bother putting them on a ring sometimes. I just keep them on the string. But since you are going to have extra, I keep them nice and simple like this so that, you know, say you have extra 993, you can just keep this floss tag. You don't have to move the silk anywhere. And then say you have another kit or your own kit and you have leftover 993, you can just put it all on the same bobbin. Hopefully that makes sense. Or thread card, rather. Hopefully that makes sense. That's my thinking when I put these together, is that, you know, when you're done, you take this apart and you can just put these back in your MPI collection or start your MPI collection and they're already labeled. And yeah. So that's kind of an overview of the process, and now I'm going to show you kind of the steps as I do it. So as I walk through it, I will show you a few more details that as they come up and how I'm doing this, and hopefully it'll make sense, hopefully be a little bit entertaining. If not, you can fast forward. So yeah, I am going to get busy on my kits. Okay, so first up, these are the tags. I buy these on Amazon. I first heard of these because Emily C uses the craft brown paper version for her floss tags, for her stitching, and they sell them that way, and then they sell the white ones. I use the white ones because I just feel like they work better with the silk somehow. I don't know, just my preference. And then I have this kind of hole punch. That's what I use to punch the holes in the cards. And that's what this looks like. This is my backup in case this one breaks. It's a 0.6 inch circle. All right, so let's pretend that I punched a few hundred cards, which I did earlier, luckily. Next up, I stamped them. So this is kind of interesting. I have this stamp, and you can see it's got these ridges on here. And I have this set from a place called Rib Type, and it's got letters and numbers in it and a few symbols, and I can change out what I stamp. So for example, I know from my little list that I have to do, let's see, cards for 704. So I just grab my numbers. I lost one of the 3s, so sometimes it gets messy if there's more than one 3 in the number, but luckily there isn't here. So I've got my 704. Got a piece of scrap paper and my ink pad. And there we go, MPI 704. So I'll keep my scrap paper off to the side here so I don't make too much of an inky mess anywhere. And then I lay out my cards. There you go. I like them to look nice, so sometimes I fill it in. And then I'll usually just kind of move those up and let them dry. And then I'll go on to the next set. In this case, I am doing 20 cards each instead of 10 because I want to make 20 sets. I've had several people ask me about them, so I'm going to do my best not to run out. Next up, we have the silks. So first step with this part, obviously, clean hands. Gotta make sure my hands are nice and clean because I'm touching silks that I'm sending out to other people. So for this one, 763 is the color we're gonna do because I just stamped those. And I know from my paper that I need 2 cuts for each card. So first comes the cutting, then I put them on the cards, obviously. So I don't have like a genius or graceful way that I do this. I just do it the easiest way that I've been able to figure out as far as opening up these skeins and cutting them. But I do use a winder to make sure that they're all 18 inches in length. Mine I bought on Etsy from Stacy Stitches Creative Studio. But I also know there's some beautiful ones out there from, I believe it's called R&R Woodworking, that you can find on Instagram. I know Brenda and Laura talk about them. So it's just, I just looked for floss winder and this is the one I bought. I actually don't use the hole because I figured out that that doesn't help with the way I wind them. But I do enjoy this nook here for the little ridge for the scissors. So that's where I make my cut. So I'm going to show you how I do that, but it's not going to come off as simple or graceful. I'm just going to record how I do it. Usually I would do this on my lap, but I'll do it on the table so I can show you. All right, so there you have it. It goes a little smoother when I'm doing it in my lap because I'll usually wrap that big circle around my knee and unwind it that way while I'm winding it on the floss winder. But you kind of get an idea. So then I divide it. In this case, we want 2 cuts. So I'll divide it into 2s. Got my cards. And then I'll do my best to make sure it's even. Split it in half like that, wind it into the card. And there you go.